We're good. Hey, when are we rolling? I can't hear much. Talk.
Gavin, can you hear me?
Yep, got it.
Can you hear now?
Try it. Bobby. You got that, Bobby? You hear me?
Hey, are we ready?
All right, we're good.
Hey,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome you to tonight's coverage of York basketball on YSN. Gavin Hughes alongside me. Bobby Hessling. Bobby, here we go, partner.
Started in a new season. York 3-1. Only loss came to number 4 Stevenson. We are ready to go. Key to the game for me will be up in just a minute. And we're underway.
This one won by LT Michael Niedermayer. And the Lyons Township Lions go to work. That ball press defense, what York is known for. Blocks and elbows always covered. LT trying to shut that down tonight. Good ball movement early here from the Lions.
Well, York on defense, they have Jeffrey Grace. He's a fantastic defender. It'll be great to see what he can do already with a reach.
Ladies and gentlemen, important to note that number 4, Michael Niedermayer, and number 11, Stefan Vasic of LT, were named to the all-tournament team of their holiday tournament at LT. Starting the game off, Michael Niedermayer, 3, and LT captures the first bucket of the ball game.
The key to the game for York is going to be scoring in the paint. The final game that they played for Stevenson just did not work well, and already an early turnover that you don't like to see. But
costly turnover there early from the Dukes. And Bobby, that's the question. I mean, they lost a lot. They lost 4 starters, 3 of their top scorers. But I mean, with Nate Shockey over the holiday, dropped 22 points in their second to last game of that tournament before going to the championship game. So the apple does not fall far from the tree. Just look on Niedermayer here. A lot of ball movement early. Cutting in. That ball last touched by number 44, John Wall.
Once again, Jeffrey Grace's amazing defense. He will reach in. He will get dirty. His big problem is fouling out. So far, out of 4 games, he's fouled out twice. That has to change if they want to win this game today, on top of scoring in the paint.
And Grace at the floor now. Bobby, what's impressive about Jeffrey Grace as you look at him? He's been around this program for a long time. He's been on varsity since being a freshman, and to travel now on Jacob Brandolino.
Yeah, he should have been packing some bags because he was traveling.
Grant Inigo, number 5, comes from a long line of Lyons Township basketball players. His brother graduated last year. Block there by the sophomore Nick Hesh, and here come the Dukes back the other way. Jeffrey Grace up the floor, giving Brandolino, looking for something, giving Shockey at the top of the key. Back over now to Grace. Jeffrey into Glavin, kick out, Brandolino.
Brandolino can
hesitates.
shoot.
Back out Brandolino, 18-footer, no good. Recovered by Glavin. Up strong. Glavin goes to the line. Bobby, that is something that it just sticks out if you're a basketball fan. Jeffrey Grace being part of this varsity team since being a freshman and had notable playing time last year and really, had a few valuable minutes in some of those big wins that they had last year.
Well, the biggest game was, as someone will remember, as Glavin misses that free throw, the Oak Park River Forest regional final game. That was a game that many were very happy that he performed in, and just an all-out performance as Glavin misses both free throws.
And back the other way come the Lions. Yeah, and this, you can see this, even though that score up there, folks, is 3-0, this defense of York starting to disrupt some of that offensive strategy that the Lions have set up. As we go now, Inigo at top of the key goes out to Niedermayer. Niedermayer to Vasic. Back out to Gorgelos. Kicking now to Niedermayer. Niedermayer looking for something. He's got nothing. A lot of contact down low. Giving back up to Vasek. And this crowd going to be as much of a factor as anything if the Dukes are going to expect to win tonight's ball game.
It's a great crowd, too. Last year we saw some great crowds, especially that final game. And they have came out early wearing pink. It is a terrific sight.
Back to Inigo. Out to Niedermayer. Looking for something. Inigo gets a little screen from Wall. Back to Niedermayer. Now 3-ball on the way from Inigo. And that goes down as an air ball. Up to Shockey, the D1 commit, North Dakota bound. Fakes out the screen from Hesh. Goes up. Strong, nothing going. Back the other way come the Lions. Looking up. Niedermayer got it. LT goes up 5. Bobby, really impressive what LT has come out here and done so far. 5-0.
Yeah, this is an LT team. They can shoot. They won each of their tournament games. A Shockey for 3. Just missed. I think Glavin was actually fouled on the everyone back there.
Yeah, I would second that. Dukes get the ball near the LT bench. Brandolino taken out of bounds. They give it out to Shockey. Glavin battling down low with Gorgelos. And a foul called on LT. That foul on Georgelos. Second team foul for LT. Brandolino again out of bounds. Under the basket.
The key player for York this season, I think, in my eyes, is Nick Hesh. He can put up solid numbers. He did so in the first game. The rest of the other games, he was all right, not doing much. In the third game, he fouled out. Fourth game, didn't do much either. But he has to score in the paint, and he has to be truly a big factor for this York team.
Yeah, Bobby, a young guy, a sophomore, as Shockey pulls up. And we have our first points at home for the Dukes. Nate Shockey, jumper good. Yeah, but I mean, you talk about it. This is back-to-back years the Dukes give sophomores notable playing time, as we were talking about before. Good hands there by Glavin. Checking in the ball game now for LT is number 25, Elliott Russell, with the ball near the elbow. Now Niedermayer. Giving to Inigo. And a foul on the floor, blocking number 33, Nick Hesh. But, Bobby, like we were saying, I mean, these sophomores, time after time, York produces some pretty good talent when they have sophomores playing on the floor. I mean, you look at Jeffrey now. And early in the season last year, he was obviously not as big of a factor. But down the stretch, when they had those games against Whitney Young, you play those games against DGS.
He was a big player.
Shot missed badly off the mark by Vasek. Grace up to Shockey. The screen to Hesh, Brandolino. Grace on the far side. Kicks out, Brandolino, 3-ball on the way, off the mark, air ball.
Second air ball we've seen in the
on
game.
The floor, and we have our second foul on Nick Hesh.
That is his first foul. Like I said, he can get into some foul trouble, or second foul, excuse me. He can get into some foul trouble, which is not the greatest. Checking in for York, Milo Mann and Lex Harrison.
And checking in for LT is number 10, Owen McManaman. Niedermayer picks up his dribble out to Inigo. Wide open in the corner was John Wall. Missed him there. Back now, Inigo, nothing. Here comes Shockey, looking coast to coast, and Jeffrey Grace up and in. 5-4.
Players will not want to jump with Jeffrey. I mean, you look at him, and you don't want to be jumping with him, but he will just lay it in. He'll get easy points on you. Another
that shot off the mark by Elliott Russell. Here comes Grace back the other way. Lex Harrison hesitates, goes up strong, nothing going there. Back the other way come Inigo and the Lions. Up strong, John Wall. Looked for something, couldn't get anything. Back out Niedermayer. Giving to McManaman. Sorry, folks. Number 10 there is Josh Heath. Now Niedermayer. Gives back. Inigo inside. It's good.
Yeah, this is a tough place to play. Being here last year, this is a team that their student section, very loud, very tough place to play. They have to show that all this season if they want to go have the same success that they did last season.
Shockey. Nothing. Rebound. Couldn't get anything. Second chance. Nothing going there. Up to Heath. Heath gives. Niedermayer in the corner. Nothing there. Downloaded wall, and he is fouled on the floor. Believe that will be on Tim Glavin. And it will be. On the hold. 1:08 remaining in the first quarter. First home game for the York Dukes, and Bobby, we can't say enough about it. Home court advantage has been the name of the game. I mean, you look at that student section, it's filled all the way up to the top. Given Inigo. Heath, 3-ball. No good.
In and out. That went off LT. Made the right call.
Now Grace giving a man. Shockey out to Harrison. Harrison throws opposite. Now to Grace. Back to man. Man, 3-ball on the way. No good. Rebounded by Inigo. Back the other way comes LT. Up to Heath. Getting a hand out of his Milo man. Out of bounds. Ball will go to LT. 36 seconds remain in the first quarter.
Great job done by Milo for making that. Is now we're going to see Luke Malaga check in for Shockey.
Yeah, Malaga really, I mean, just a tremendous athlete. I mean, you talk about a tremendous wide receiver when it comes to football too. One athletic man.
He's great academically too. 4.3 GPA. Something tremendous for him.
Number 23 is Michael Shea. He's checking into the game for LT. Going the other way, believe that foul will be on Michael Shea. And coming back the other way will be the Dukes.
Lions foul on 23, Michael Shea, his first, team score.
And coming out is Malaga. Denton Rohde, the junior, checking into the ball game now.
6'6", he can use his size to an advantage. But like I said, scoring in the paint is where it's going to start.
10 seconds to go in the quarter. Nate Shockey looking for something. Giving to Harrison. Back to Shockey. 3 to go. Up. Shockey. No good. Off the mark. And that concludes the first quarter. So we say goodbye to that one. And hello to you at home, ladies and gentlemen. Gavin Hughes to my left. Bobby Hessling. Bobby, we've hinted at it over and over and over again. They've lost a lot. Like we said, graduating 4 starters and losing their top 3 scorers. What can you tell us about what Doran is trying to do to get this team back to where they were?
It's just developing the young players. We've seen Shockey do it, but now it's time for Lex, it's time for Jeffrey, it's time for Nick, Luke. All those guys, if they develop right, they will do it, and it'll work.
Yeah, and I mean, I tell you about it, this is one athletic team coming in. You got numerous multi-sport athletes. And if you just look around, you know, Coach Doran said last year at this point there was a clear top 7. Right now there is not a clear top 7. So you're going to see a whole lot of players checking into the ball game. As we already saw in that first quarter, Luke Malaga got in, Lex Harrison got in, Denton Rohde got in. It's not like you go with your starting 5 and then you just sub in 2 of those players. This is a team. It's gonna be experimental, and I think that's something that's kind of cool to see, because when they establish that routine, I think it will certainly pay off for them in the end.
Yeah, and also it hurts. They have lost Frederick Levins. He has a season-ending ankle injury. He will miss the entire season. He would have been a big addition, but you don't have him, so that's a big loss.
We get back now to the action. 8 minutes. Your second quarter starts with Shockey, Milo Mann, Lex Harrison, Denton Rohde, and Jeffrey Grace. Harrison in the corner, back up to man. Out to Shockey. Given back to Harrison. Now Grace. Whole lot of Shockey early. Gets his pocket pick straight to Rhodey. Rhodey can't finish the layup.
That's something you have to work on if you're the centers. Finishing in the paint, and we've already seen that miss twice.
Heath throws it up. Rebound by Rhodey.
Nice pass.
A little outlet pass there to Grace. Harrison for three.
In and out.
Off the mark.
Something different about
Rebound
this year's
by
team
man.
from last year's York is on offense. This team is more defensive. Last year, straight up all offense and a charge on Jeffrey Grace.
And that means the Dukes go to 4 fouls. This quarter just started 7-4 LT. Checking back into the game is number 4, Michael Niedermayer. We talked about a LT as well, graduating 3 starters, all of which went on to play at the next level in college basketball. So Niedermayer and the Lions, seeing where their season goes too. And that goes into number 25, Ben Engels.
Well, sticking with the West Suburban Conference, the conference that York is in, there's a lot of great competition. York, Oak Park River Forest, Lyons Township, Glenbard West, and Hinsdale Central's on the rise. So a lot as York calls timeout.
Goes to York and the Dukes. Bobby, I second that. I mean, this is a very, very competitive conference. Last year in the Jack Tosh that we had here at York showcased York and DGS, a classic. I mean, that was a ball game and a half.
Yeah, both out of the West Suburban Conference. York and DGS are in different divisions, but it was one hell of a game to say the least.
Oh, I mean, you can't say enough about it, and that's the thing. You don't lack leadership in this year's squad, and you didn't lack leadership in last year's squad. So even being a young team, you look to guys like Shockey, you look to guys like Grace, who have been here through and through. They've experienced it. I mean, all you can do is hope that they can just keep that process going and pass it on to the young guys. 9-4, around 6.5 to go in the first half. Dukes trail by 5. Man to start out of bounds to Brandolino, and now it goes Shockey.
Yeah, Shockey, you'll see a lot of him in the game. He might not even sit for the entire game. Foul is called.
It'll be offensive. Believe it was on Brandolino. And it was. Michael Niedermayer to take it out of bounds for LT. York right now averaging 44.8 points per game. And a travel there on Michael Shea. And in addition, he'll get that ball stuck in the rim too.
Yeah, Shea.
Jeffrey Grace checking back into the game for the Dukes.
He's got to start packing some bags. He was traveling.
And Jeffrey Grace now taking the ball up for the Dukes. And to Tim Glavin. Glavin out to Man. Man hesitates to Shockey. Shockey behind the back. Out to Brandolino. Giving Shockey 3-ball, no good. Rebound by Grace. To Man. Man 3-ball on the way. Yes, sir.
This crowd loves it.
Milo Man. Trailing by 2 are the Dukes. 5.5 to go. First 3 of the ball game for this York squad. And now Vasek to Inigo. Inigo out Niedermayer. Hesitate. Nothing going.
Big board by
Here
Tim Glavin.
Shockey and the Dukes.
This crowd's going to lose it if York scores another 3. Just waiting for it. This year, these shooters have to shoot with confidence. It's just a mismatch. On the offense.
Brandolino kick to Man. Man 3-ball. No good. Off the mark. Back the other way comes Inigo. Inigo trying to go coast to coast. Foul drawn prior to the play. Believe that one. Is that one on Tim? Is that on Brandolino?
I think that was on Jacob Brandolino. He looked to step in his way.
And it was his second. 9-7. 4:56 to go in this ball game. Niedermayer on the far side, taking out of bounds. Inigo sets up, gives it to Vasek. Out to Inigo, and we have a offensive foul on LT.
Charging.
That's on number 33, Anthony Georgellos.
Well, something no one's been mentioning, York got a new court this year, and hopefully that can bring some good luck to this York team.
Bobby, I believe it goes look well, play well. And if this court looks good,
they're going to play good.
that's got to have some effect on the players.
Exactly.
It's got to work a little bit. As
Something
Grace now
special.
sets up for the Dukes. Good ball movement early from both teams. Milo Mann, top of the key, giving to Shockey. Shockey, 3-ball, no good, off the mark. Rebound to Shockey. Shockey drives up, no good. Rimmed in and out. Back the other way, up to Niedermayer. Niedermayer looking, given, side, Vasek, no good, but the putback good by John Wall. Nate Shockey looks to set it up, out to Mann. A lot going up top for the Dukes. Shockey goes up strong, gets that one to go in. And Nate Shockey logging in his 4th point of the game. 11-9 is what it cuts down to. LT still with the advantage. 3:45 to go. Niedermayer to Inigo. Given to Vasek. Vasek looking for something down low, has nothing. Back out to Inigo. 3-ball on the way. Off the mark, short. That one shot by number 25, Ben Engels. Up the floor now come the Dukes. Give out to Shockey. Shockey, Trey, all the way. Nate Shockey for 3, and with that, the Dukes capture their first lead of the ballgame, 12-11. 3:15 to go.
Big 3 and a good lead for the start.
Vasek, 3. Tries to answer, nothing.
Nick Hesh could have been charged with a foul there. As it looked, he was pushing on him.
Into Hesh. Given back out to Mann. Trying to extend this lead. They give to Grace, top of the key. To Glavin. Now Shockey, back to Glavin. Glavin tries to take him. And yes, sir. Bobby, I'll tell you what, Sam Walsh would appreciate that.
Points
and
in
with
the
that,
paint. That's
we
huge.
go time out LT. 14-11 as York extends their lead to 3, 2.5 to go in the second. Bobby, little vintage there. Looked a little bit like Sam Walsh.
It did.
Backing a man up, put him into the basket. Yes, sir.
Tim Glavin was the 3rd string behind Sam Walsh and used what he taught him. As we show it back to you.
And folks, we've hinted at it numerous times. They lost a lot, but they come back with height. There are 3 players, Bobby, on this team this year, on this year's squad, listed at 6'5". I mean, if you got height, you got it. When you have a coach like Doran, you got to think he'll make it work.
He's been trying his best. And like I said earlier, scoring points in the paint is where it begins. York struggled with that up in Palatine. And Tim Glavin, big bucket there, as he was subbed out for Denton Rohde.
And here come the Lions. Looking, kick out, angles to Niedermayer. Niedermayer giving, nothing going to Inigo. Inigo gets a screen from Wall, driving in, and that's going to be a jump ball. Great defense there.
The arrow favors what would be LT, so they will stay with the ball.
It's Nate Shockey.
With 2:11
Milo
left.
Mann checks into the game. Nick Hesh comes out. And Niedermayer under the basket, bringing the ball in for the Lions.
At some of the practices this year, they've been challenging Nick Hesh to do more, have higher expectations for him.
Kick to Wall.
And it's kind of worked.
Nothing going there for Shockey. Tried to go up strong, couldn't get it to go. Just under 2 minutes to go. York with the lead by 3. Great defense there by Harrison. And here comes Shockey. Straight up and in. 16-11. Dukes with the lead. 1:40 to go. Tell you what, Bobby, we've seen a lot of fast breaks here early.
A 9-0 run for York, in fact. And that's big. It's given them a easy 5-point lead with the putback.
Good take there by John Wall. Shockey now. Harrison inside to Rhodey, and we got a foul on the floor. I believe that'll be on number 44, John Wall.
Lions foul 44, John Wall. That's his first, team's 5th.
And bringing the ball out of bounds for the Dukes is Lex Harrison. Inbounding it to Denton Rhodey. Another foul, that one on number 10, Josh Heath. Bobby, you asked this crowd to show up, and that they did. I mean, this place
is packed to the top.
It is, to the brim.
And
as Grace sets up top, out to man.
This is some stuff that we saw during the Jack Tosh, during the regional final. Milo, great
man,
pass.
Kick out, couldn't get it.
Great
little
steal.
Quick tempo there. Try to get it out.
Yeah, York has to slow things down.
They do.
Going too fast can be a problem.
Malaga checking in for the Dukes, and out comes number 5, Milo Mann. Checking the ball in on the far side is Niedermayer. And now comes Inigo back to Niedermayer. Dukes set back up, covering blocks and elbows. The specialty of Coach Dorn. Inigo looking for something. Given to Josh Heath. Back out Niedermayer. Niedermayer to Engels. Engels gives to Inigo. Looking down low, has nothing. Straight up, too strong. That shot there by Josh Heath. Here come the Dukes back the other way. Jeffrey Grace goes, kick out Malaga. Looking, giving, Shockey hesitates. And we have 10 to go in the half. Wants a screen from Harrison. Gets a screen. Gives out, and we have a travel. Jeffrey Grace remains LT ball on the near side. Vasek, dribble drive, kick out Niedermayer. Niedermayer to Vasek, and Inigo sets it up again at the top of the key. Looking, driving, up, got it to go. Left-hand layup is good. 22-16. Time out LT. 6 points is the difference between these two teams. Bobby, 4.5 to go, third quarter. This is where it gets a little hairy for some teams. I mean, you talk about a 6-point advantage halfway through the third quarter. There's two ways this could go. LT go on a little bit of a run here, maybe get that lead to double digits, or if you're York, you can start to battle back before that deficit becomes too big, and then you find yourself in an even deeper hole.
Yeah, very true. And I mean, especially if you're York, we welcome you back for those of you who had problems trying to watch it. It was a quick run for LT. They went on a 9-0 run, just like York did to end the half. And yeah, you have to try to regain this lead, have to try to fix that, because right now it just isn't working.
Yeah, I mean, you know, 22-16, one team foul for each team. Bobby, we talked about the importance of these young players. Nick Hesh with 3 fouls early, that's not doing much good for your squad.
No, that doesn't help. He's a big part of this team. And, I mean, Denton Rhodey, he can fill that, but just having him is not enough with Tim Glavin. You just got to Just got to work along that.
Shockey and the Dukes go back to work. We resume play. And we go with Grace. Grace to Glavin. Glavin to Shockey. Fuses a screen from Glavin. Jump shot is partially blocked by Stefan Vasek. Is Lex Harrison also in the ball game now for the Dukes? Kick ball violation on Nate Shockey. Niedermayer out of bounds, Inigo. And there seems to be a hole in the hands of Stefan Vasek. Ball goes to the Dukes. It's got to start here. Something's got to start giving. Shockey to set it up. Gives it to Grace. Grace surveys. And the foul on Brandolino. And I mean, Bobby, we've been talking about this entire game. Fouls, fouls, fouls. I mean, for both teams too. It hasn't been one, hasn't been the other. I believe it was 6 fouls in the first half for each of these teams. And they're costly. I mean, you look back on it, it's costly.
There weren't many free throws that I remember, but yeah, that's going to cost you.
Niedermayer top of the key to Vasek. Vasek gives. Inigo. To Niedermayer. Back to Inigo. Now Vasek. Vasek gives Niedermayer. A lot of traffic down low, Bobby. And now Inigo hesitating. Dribble drive. And a little travel there on number 3, Anthony Georgelos.
Anthony, he should be packing bags as well. He was traveling like all the other 3 guys that we've mentioned who have been traveling.
Milo Man checking into the ball game now for the Dukes.
They can all travel to Hawaii.
Nate Shockey to Man. Looking down low to Rhodey. Pass off the mark. We'll make it work anyway. Driving Milo Man, no good. Rebound Rhodey. Loose ball in the air. Back to Man. Man kick out to Harrison, to Grace. Hesitating, driving, up. Grace, no good. Second chance points, Bobby. We talked about it, and that one's going to hurt. Ball's going to go the other way to LT.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, finishing in the paint, points in the paint is something that York needs to get to win games. Something that hasn't happened much, and it's got to change now.
Checking in for the Lions is number 25, Ben Engels, and number 23, Michael Shea. Stefan Vasek up the floor for the Lions. Opposite side, Niedermayer hesitates. Little jumper on the way is good. 24-16, the lead now goes to 8.
York has to do something offensively. No points in 6 minutes.
Important to note that that was Niedermayer's 9th point of the night. He leads LT in scoring. Down low goes Rhodey.
Nice
Good
finish.
little fake. Got it to go. 24-18.
We need something to get this crowd back in this game.
Bobby just about to say the same thing. And the kick
ball.
But for the steal. But Bobby, you can just tell. I mean, that energy picks up when just one thing goes right. And that shows you, I mean, for LT to come in here and kind of take this crowd relatively out of it early.
Timeout, LT.
That's something that you got to respect. And the timeout goes now to Tom Sloan and the Lions. This will be a 30-second timeout. Folks, we want to acknowledge again the pink out for tonight's game. Shirts were sold at the door. And Bobby, we can't say it enough. Tremendous turnout for tonight's ball game. Student section all the way to the top. Pink all the way up and down.
Well, our next game, home game, will be versus Bennett, and it'll be a silent night. Once York scores that 10th point, then it's working. Then that crowd will get into it. Hopefully it's fantastic. Hopefully it's the same student section as we have today.
I hope so. Silent night, really, really great idea there put together by Monocle Nation.
One thing you want to do is watch the monitor. You just want to watch the monitor, see what they're focusing on.
And LT goes back to work. Grant Inigo, top of the key, guarded by Jeffrey Grace. Coming out from the screen from Angles was Niedermayer. Niedermayer surveys, nothing going. Gives to Inigo. Inigo to Shea. Shea in trouble down low. Ball comes out. Shea gets it back. Shea up and in. It counts. And the foul. Talk about extending the lead, Bobby. That can potentially get it to 9.
Something about this crowd. Last year, whenever the opponent was shooting a free throw, this place would get so loud. This year, you could hear a pin drop. It's got to change if you're a part of the York student section, as York is down 8.
We see some rust here early in the season, and we see a little bit of rust from the student section.
Very
Give
true.
it time. 26-18. LT leads, minute 12 to go in the third quarter. That foul on Vasek. Inbounding the ball with Shockey to Milo Man. Man goes back to Shockey. Shockey dives in. Can't get that layup to go either. Bobby, can we see any more of those?
I don't know if we can. We've seen so many of them.
There's just been too much. And now goes Niedermayer. Niedermayer picks up his dribble for the second time tonight
10
in a
seconds.
bad place. And we got a 5-second violation
10 seconds.
on LT. Correction, 10-second violation.
For those York fans who remember last year's Whitney Young game, York got kind of in a they got that called. Didn't get that called against them.
Gets the roadblock out of the way. Good move there by Denton. Rohde logs in point number 4. Brings it within 6. Half a minute to go in the third quarter. Coming up is Inigo, guarded by Shockey. Inigo, top of the key. Gets a screen from Michael Shea. Out to Engels. To Niedermayer, now Inigo. Inigo looking, drive, kick. Niedermayer pulls up. Nothing going. Rebound by Shockey. Shockey looks up the floor. Jeffrey Grace. Grace driving and a foul. Great physicality from Jeffrey Grace. 5.5 seconds to go.
Sean Maher checking in.
Good shot there by Grace, and Luke Malaga will come in for Nate Shockey, and Sean Maher for number 5, Milo Man. Grace makes the first, trying to capitalize on the second to make it 26-22.
And Jeffrey Grace has improved on his shot from last year. Has become all around a better scorer.
Both.
As Rohde checks out, Hesh comes in.
5.5.
Sean Maher last year did not play for.
1.2 to go in the quarter. 26-22. The Dukes will get the ball back. And checking back into the game comes Denton Rohde for Nick Hesh and Nate Shockey for Luke Malaga, as well as Tim Glavin.
Hesh is actually checking back in. He's going to stay.
Hesh checking back in. Checking out his Maher. Brandolino to throw the ball inbounds. 1.2 to go.
Just to the left of the scorer's table.
Looking. Grace pulls up. 3-ball on the way is short. And with that, we conclude the third quarter and head to the final one. 26-22. Dukes trailing by 4. And we say hello. And Bobby, just to acknowledge again, Andy Laguerre Foundation is the reason for the pink out tonight. Obviously a tremendous cause. And I mean, these students have shown you pink all up and down the bleachers, all up and down the stands, especially in that student section. And Bobby, you have to think home court advantage is what works for the Dukes.
It did last season, yes.
But you were saying now that, you know, LT's taking them out of it a little bit, just a little bit.
A 6-point lead. entering the fourth quarter, I would agree with that statement. Yes.
Now let's say, hypothetically, say a little comeback's brewing now. 26-22. I mean, you can't ask for much more from the guys out there. Obviously playing physical, and that's what you need when you're playing a team like LT that we have here tonight.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
Yeah. We have 8 more minutes in tonight's contest. 26-22. LT leading the Dukes in the first home game of the season. Checking in the ball for the Dukes is Brandolino. It goes from the top of your screen, Brandolino, Hesh, Shockey, and Grace. And over there on your right side is number 50, Tim Glavin.
I accidentally said I believe 6-point lead. It is only a 4-point lead.
Did I say 6, or did you say 6?
I think we both said 6.
No, we both said 6. Hey, that's all right. We go down together. We resume action here at Dick Campbell Gymnasium on a beautiful Friday night in December.
We'll have plenty of these York games.
Brandolino to Grace. Here chit-chatter from the students. It's just good to be back. It's Hesh 3. No good. Rebound by Glavin. Yes, sir. Looking for something. Back to Glavin after the pass, and from behind goes Ben Engels.
Went off the ref.
The ball will stick with the Dukes. But Bobby, I do think we've seen that ball press defense, that 1-2-2, start to become more of a factor.
Yeah, it's been working.
Brandolino to Hesh. Good little move there. And up.
Oh.
No good. That ball will go in favor of LT. It's 26-22. 7:14 to go. Nick Hesh, the rebound, after a missed shot by the Lions. Straight up to Grace. Grace to Brandolino. Screen from Hesh. Brandolino looking for the give and go, doesn't get it, so he turns around. Why not a jumper? Can't get it. And that ball will go back to LT. And for the first time at home, this crowd getting a little antsy.
They have been, yes. Down still 4, but there's a odd call. Almost looked like that was off LT. Could have been either way there.
Niedermayer and the Lions go back to work. Giving to Engels. Engels back to Niedermayer. Outside. John Wall up, good little move, and in. Back to 6. 6.5 to go. Shockey. Screen from Glavin. Shockey to Grace. Out of Brandolino. Brandolino dribble drive, kick out Grace. Grace 3-ball on the way, comes
Way
up
short.
Rebound to Engels.
Yeah, his shot isn't perfect. He's still working on it, though, which is good, but just has to finalize that.
That ball will go back in favor of LT.
Coach Dorn was upset with the both last out-of-bounds calls. As
Checking into the game is Denton Rohde, coming out is Jacob Brandolino.
Lex Harrison also checked in at the moment for Brandolino. Glavin checks out.
Looking, Inigo draws the foul. 2 shots here coming up for Grant Inigo. His Milo man getting set now. Check in. And the first shot from Inigo is good. And
The interesting
checking.
part about this game is neither team has hit 30.
That
on the verge of it.
This is a particularly low-scoring game as Hesh comes out of the ball game.
And we'll probably see a lot of those from York. But last year, everyone was so used to seeing 60, 70-point games. This year, you're going to see probably a lot of 30, 40-point games for York, but they'll manage to win using terrific defense.
Agreed. And Inigo hits the second. Now the Dukes go back to work. And we go Shockey from the corner. Shockey, good little move, little drive,
And the
gets it to
finish.
go. 30-24, goes back to 6.
Shockey has 11 0 fouls.
Stefan Vasek. Kick out to Niedermayer. Back to Vasek. Hesitates. Tries to pull, and we have a double dribble call on Stefan Vasek. Bobby, we talked about it. Got to put together a little bit of run. They did at the end of the first half. 9 unanswered points from the Dukes. And they do it again. Jeffrey Grace driving in, can't finish.
You have to get in front of that. You have to grab rebounds. And York running with a relatively small lineup with nor Nick Hesh or Tim Glavin and only Denton Rohde.
Kick out Niedermayer. Bobby, we talked about a lot of traffic. There's some stale offense from both teams as Grant Inigo nails that one. And this game goes to 9. 33-24, 4.5 to go in the ball game. Lex Harrison to Grace. Kick out Shockey. 3-ball. Got it. Good going. Gone. 33-27. Cuts it to 6.
We have raffle winners. If you have your raffle tickets, get your raffle tickets out. 77210.
Tonight, this ball game is, Bobby, as you said, not the type of scoring this crowd is used to. Low scoring ball game, 33-27. It's been relied on defense, relied on the three-point shooting a lot, but second chance points have been a weakness of the Dukes thus far.
And that's something they have to improve on if they want to win games. You have to score in the paint. You have to get second chance points. You have to grab rebounds. And that's something you would think York would not lack using their height, but apparently they have.
Yeah, and that's something that hurts. Now, they have kept the fouls down. At this point in the first half, we already had to put 6 fouls. We go to 4. LT has 3. So you're not going to factor free throws in it as much down the stretch. Just under 4.5 to go. 6-point ball game. Be honest, Bobby, wouldn't be surprised if this game doesn't get to 40. I mean, this is going to be a battle of the brains here down the stretch. Down the stretch. 3 fouls for LT.
Usually,
4 for the Dukes.
40 is something that we're used to seeing be happening right at the start of the second half.
Agreed. Vasek, one of the 2 members of the LT Lions, made the all-tournament team. Georgelos, this ball will stay with LT. I believe that was off the hand of Jeffrey Grace. Looking traffic down low. Niedermayer gives it inside. Gorgelos, no good. Back to Gorgelos, kick out Inigo. Inigo, no good. Rebound by Shockey. Shockey looks, breaking away. Now he gives, good little pass down low. And Jeffrey Grace drawing the foul. We go 4 and 4 in terms of fouls on both teams.
Number 5, Grant Inigo, that's his first. Team's
Now, folks, to show you how valuable Nathan Shockey is to this York squad, he has 14 points, and as of right now, that is 50% of the Duke's points.
That's something incredible when you talk about that.
As Grace goes for number 2. And we go back to a 4-point game, 33-29. Checking back into the ball game for Lex Harrison is Jacob Brandolino.
Last year we were going back to the student section. We were so used to hearing defense be chanted. Haven't heard much of that, and believe me, we all want to hear it again.
Niedermayer now gets the screen from Vasek. Grant Inigo. Dribble drive, kick out, Vasek, 3-ball on the way, off the mark. Rebound, Nate Shockey, and a foul on Anthony Georgelos.
As the 5th team foul for LT. One more, and that puts York in the bonus.
Brandolino and the Dukes go to work. To Shockey, dribble, drive, good little pass to Denton Rody, down low, got it. We cut it back to 2. Grant, Inigo, and the Lions searching for answers.
There's that defense chant.
It's coming now, Bobby. They're waking up. 2-point game, 3 to go in the ball game. Inigo to Vasek. Vasek to Georgelos.
Milo getting aggressive.
Bad pass there, and Jeffrey Grace with the steal. Back the other way come the Dukes.
The editor to the left of me very excited by that.
Denton Rody down low. Good little move. Draws the foul. Denton Rody blocking on number 33, Anthony Georgelos. And with that enters number 25, Anthony Engels.
You got to finish at the line if you're Denton. Ignore
Nick
the
Hesh
confidence,
set to
ignore
check
everything.
into the ball game.
Don't ignore the confidence. Ignore the pressure. Excuse me.
Off the mark. Misses the first. Rody hits the second. Brings it to within 1. Just over 2.5 to go. Rody, valuable 7 points on the night. Here comes Stefan Vasek. Vasek to Inigo. Calling and getting the ball is Engels. Engels back over to Inigo. Inigo dribble drive on the block. No shot. A blocking foul.
Call on Jeffrey Grace.
His second, he's 5th.
Very surprising. He only has 2 fouls. Usually by this point in the game he would have 4. Maybe he's even done at this point.
So there you go, Bobby. He's improving on not fouling and hitting foul shots. That ball will be back in favor of the Lions, and that's called number 3 that Doran doesn't love. Good little trap here by the Dukes. Off the foot. Recovered by Grace. Up and in.
And the finish.
There goes Nate Shockey. Somebody stop that man. 34-33. Dukes reclaim the lead. 2 minutes to go. Inigo to Vasek.
Crowd is pumped.
Foul on the play. That one will be, I believe, on Denton Rody.
Both teams are at 6 and are now in the bonus.
Signaling for a timeout is Tom Sloan, and LT will take it. Minute 53 to go, 34-33. Both teams at 6 fouls. Dukes have 3 timeouts left. LT with 2. Bobby, this is where it gets interesting.
This is going to be, York was down 9. They've rallied back. They've taken a 1-point lead. I may be mistaken on this, but I believe York has gone on a 10-0 run. Could be wrong about that, like I said, but it's going to be an interesting finish to the end.
I mean, this is going to be an interesting ending to our ball game. And folks, what a game it has been. Nate Shockey, of the 34 points scored by the Dukes, Nate Shockey has 16.
Yes.
16 points.
Denton Rody's been a key piece in this game. He has 7.
Yeah.
Very big.
And a very valuable 7. But if 16 points doesn't scream to you, D1 bound, I don't know what does. And a great play there, by the way, to reclaim the lead. Grace getting on the floor, getting physical. Great little pass there to Shockey.
And he does that.
34-33. 1:53 to go in the ball game. And here come the Dukes. Taking the ball out of bounds now is number 4 for LT, Niedermayer. Michael Niedermayer. Close to that 5-second mark, but gets Inigo. It goes. 1:45 to go. Here comes Shockey. Looking for the screen, getting it from Rhodey. Shockey looking, gives it back to Rhodey, to Hesh, to Grace. Little swing there, trying to drive, can't do it, was Grace. He'll go to Hesh. Hesh trying to get down low, can't get it going, but does end up giving it to Rhodey. Rhodey looks, gives it to Brandolino. Give out to Hesh, back to Shockey. Down low to Rhodey. Kick out to Grace, to Brandolino. We have 1 minute to go, and the steal there from Stefan Vasek. It goes in, and LT takes the lead by 3.
Time
out York, 37-34. 47.7 to go. Folks, we have talked about how good this team was last year. We know how good they were. 4 starters graduated, 3 of those top scorers.
2 of them reached the 1,000-point mark at this school.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the experience on this York team, it's not anything that's overly impressive. But there's just something about them that makes you think they can get it done. It's like 37-34. If I'm a Duke fan, I'm looking up at that scoreboard. I'm not panicking just yet.
They did it against Hershey, that first game. They were down, I believe, 9. They rallied back, and they won by 1 point. I wouldn't be surprised if we see overtime in this game.
And this crowd antsy for a win. I mean, you can just feel it. They're back. They are back in it. This band's back in it. But LT, I mean, what a response to a little bit of adversity there as of late. Dukes will get the ball. Coming back in. Jacob Brandolino on the far side. Shockey. Shockey, 3-ball, off the mark. Rebound to LT. Michael Niedermayer to Grant Inigo. And trying to foul the Dukes. Breaking in the foul there. And number 33, the sophomore Nick Hesh.
Stick around after the game for tonight's post-game show.
That one on Brandolino.
Here, we'll just give like the stats and stuff if we have that.
Anthony Engels to get it to 5. Off the mark. Gets it to Hesh. On the rebound. Shockey to Grace. Grace looking. Can't get anything. To Shockey. Shockey pulls up from 3. He's fouled. Possibly best case scenario for the Dukes. In that case.
18 seconds left. This is a gym that's going to get real quiet in a second.
Folks, you're about to hear a pin drop. Nails the first. What Shockey can do, he gets it back to 3. 18 seconds on the dot to go. 38-37, both teams with 7 fouls. Shockey, shot number 2. Off the mark.
Does this game remind you a little bit of the Jack Tosh Championship game a little bit?
A little bit. It does have that feeling to it. DGS hanging around, York hanging around. all the way down to the buzzer. Shockey, shot number 3. Got it. 38-36, 2-point ball game. Immediately inbound to Inigo. Inigo cutting up, and the foul there on Shockey.
For foul number 10, Nate Shockey. It's only his first. Team's 8.
That one hurts a little bit. His first foul of the game. However, 18 points is pretty impressive. And this is where that one missed foul shot does hurt a little bit, is Grant Inigo with the 1-and-1. Tremendous answer there by Inigo as this crowd gets louder and louder as we get closer to the conclusion of this contest. And Inigo for the last one. Doesn't get it to go. Rebound by Hesh. Up to Grace. Up to Grace.
You want it.
And we go timeout.
You want it in the hands of Nate Shockey, Nick Hesh, or Jacob Brandolino. Those are the guys who can shoot, and those are the guys that I expect them to have it in their hands.
I mean, this is where it gets pretty exciting. This is where it gets interesting. 39-36, LT 8 fouls. I'm sorry, York 8 fouls, LT 7 fouls. Nate Shockey has 18 points. York has 36 total. That's exactly 50%. Like I said, if those numbers don't impress you, I mean, that is just phenomenal. And to manage putting up those numbers with 1 foul,
just impressive.
And getting the crowd back into it. I mean, that little run really did end up sparking a little bit more than we thought. 2 timeouts left for LT, none for the Dukes as we resume action. 9.7 to go. Brandolino. Far side to Grace. To Shockey. Shockey. 3 ball. He got it! He got it! Nate Shockey. 4-3. 4 seconds to go. 39-39. Nate Shockey with quite the answer. And
what an answer by this crowd.
Partner, we might need some more time on that clock to settle this one.
We might.
Nate Shockey for 3, 39-39.
This one York student is pumped.
4 seconds in the ball game. LT with 1 timeout. If Nate Shockey has not shown you tonight
how good he actually is,
then I just do not know what to tell you. This is where it gets. This is now you take a moment like that. That's exciting. That's an exciting moment. But this is the part of sports where, let's say, worst case scenario. Let's just set ourselves up for this. Worst case scenario, LT comes down and hits a buzzer beater. All right. So then what, folks? Well, don't worry. Bennett comes in here next week on Saturday.
Saturday night.
5:30 tip. That's a silent night. So, folks, I believe at the 10th point. At the 10th point, everyone is quiet until that point. And then once that 10th point is square, we go crazy.
The pregame show will be live at that time.
I believe we'll start that one around 5 o'clock, depending on when the conclusion of the sophomore game is. But 4 seconds on the dot.
Live updates of that will be followed on Twitter at York_Network. That is the York Sports Network official Twitter page.
But for right now, we looking live. Grant, Inigo, and the Lions. Up, basic, off the mark. Partner,
overtime.
First home game of the season.
We have overtime.
Let's take overtime. Let's do it.
This is last year. I don't believe we saw a game went into overtime in this gym out of York, and we've seen it for the first time this season.
And that's game. You know what? This crowd, Bobby. I think someone heard you. You know, maybe not like the idea of this crowd not being in it. But what a response! I mean, they had that run there at the end of the first half, and now they bring it to this, and we got overtime. I'll sign up for this every day of the week. 4 minutes is what we need to settle this one.
There is some trouble. Milo Man is actually injured at the moment right now, so we might not see him for overtime. 4-minute overtime quarter, and it should be good.
39-39. 39. One team with 7 fouls, the other with 8. Those 8 belong to your Dukes. I mean, this is just one way to start off the first home game. I'm all about it. If we're not going to blow them out, let's bring it overtime.
And this crowd, they are ready for overtime. They were pumped. When Shockey hit that 3, Hesh will jump for York.
It is good to be back. One by LT goes straight back to Grant. Inigo. A lot of traffic again.
If I'm York and you want to win this game, you have to get off to an early start. Just don't win it in the final minute and a half.
You got to get them running. You got to get them tired. As Inigo surveying on Brandolino. He'll pull up. And LT will register the first points of the extra period. Shockey to Grace. Grace to Shockey. Shockey driving up, no good. Rebound by Denton Rohde. Rohde goes up and he's fouled.
You got to finish at the line.
He's got a valuable 7. If you're a Duke fan, you hope he gets that to 9. 4 fouls on one player currently in the ballgame, and that's Nick Hesh. As Denton Rohde goes to the line to shoot 2. Nailing the first. 41-40. Bobby, we talked about 40 possibly being a halftime score. Well, sorry to say, it's the overtime score. As Rohde misses the next one. And a foul on number 4, Will Niedermayer. We were just talking about how Hesh has 4 fouls, but a valuable rebound there.
This is
and he'll go to the line.
Out of the practices that I've seen, you want him at the line. Just
as Engels comes out,
ignore the pressure.
Georgellos checks back in, and Nick Hesh at the line. Bucket.
Big one. This gym got quiet.
41-41.
Not one person talked.
Hesh, number 2. Count it. Good. Going.
The band loves it. Everyone loves it.
Important injury to update you on. Milo Mann out of the ball game.
Most likely stay out for the rest of the game.
Most likely. But for now, Michael Niedermayer, the Lions will go back to work. Grant Inigo at the top of the key. He has a screen from Georgellos. Looking, kicking out. Stefan Vasic. Pass behind his head. And that one, no good.
I believe that should have been called out of bounds, but I don't know if it has to hit the black part that supports it.
Foul there.
Or the top of the backboard.
Well, you know what, Bobby? That right there means that they're trying to challenge the ability
of Jeffrey Grace.
The free throw shooting ability of Jeffrey Grace.
Jeffrey Grace the third, indeed.
He did mention we should call him that. He did mention that. 42-41, 2 shots here for Grace. First one got it.
Go.
Gets the second, and he sinks it with authority.
York is up by 3. This is big.
3-point game. Inigo at the top of the key.
He's going ISO with Shockey.
Kick to Vasic. Inigo cutting, and a steal by the Dukes. Recovered by Denton Rohde.
Jeffrey Grace with that steal, in fact. If I'm York, kill as much time as you can with good ball pressure.
They keep trying to foul Grace as they kick out now to Brandolino.
I think that's a bad move.
That ball off of LT sticks with the Dukes. (44-41) York with the 3-point advantage. 2 minutes to go.
Coach Stubbs of York said it best. After the first game that they won versus Hersey, he said, you're going to play a lot of games like this. He's not been wrong.
Grace is denied. Ball goes to LT. Recovered, loose ball recovered by John Wall. Up the court now, kicking outside. Georgellos, opposite side. Stefan Basic, three-pointer. Air ball. And the crowd is going to let him know. Nate Shockey. And the Dukes looking for just a couple more points. They'll give to Brandolino. Brandolino out to Hesh. Hesh to Rhodey. Giving it back to Hesh.
Rhodey was getting hugged on that one play.
No surprise, no call there. And now Shockey. You got to think they're just trying to kill time, Bobby, as you said. Hesh looking. Hesh giving. Grace. Back out to Shockey. We're going to see the offensive clinic that York puts on, led by number 10, Nate Shockey.
Who else?
46-41.
Who else
Dukes
but Nate Shockey?
By 5.
Half our points. Let that sink in. 23.
Niedermayer, kick to Georgellos, 3-ball, no good. Rebound to Shockey, 40 seconds to go. And they're gonna foul him. Partner, we're getting closer.
Pumped.
We're getting closer to that's all she wrote. Nate Shockey, tremendous response. And as ridiculous as it might seem, Nate Shockey has a chance for 25 points.
Can we see if York hits 50?
Got it.
Potentially.
6-point advantage for the Dukes. Checking in is Anthony Engels. Checking out for LT is Anthony Georgellos. Shockey books that one, 48-41.
Let's just remember, York was down by 9. I believe in the fourth quarter, too. They just went through adversity, 3-ball.
Basic corner, air ball. That ball recovered by Rhodey. Immediate foul by LT. Nate Shockey to the line. Chance to make it 50-41 and a 9-point advantage. Well, it's not over till it's over, Bobby, but I like where this one's headed. Count it.
We all did. We all like where this game's heading. Just a terrific game by York.
26 points for Nate Shockey. Call it 20, no. 26 sounds good
26 for sure.
Straight up to Engels. Engels, jump shot, no good. Rebound by Jeffrey Grace. He'll be fouled, and he's going to head to the line. Tom Sloan would disagree, as do the Lions. Like it or not.
These LT fans are beginning to trickle out.
Chance to make it 51-41 if Jeffrey Grace hits these two. But first, we will take a timeout. Lot of adversity faced by the Dukes here as of late, but man, did they overcame that very quickly. And this crowd got right back into it.
Yeah.
Nate Shockey hits a 3 to tie the ball game up at 39-39. And this crowd gets right back to their old ways. Jeffrey Grace shooting 2. Gets the first one.
Our next telecast will either be December 10th, which will be a girls' game when they play Oak Park River Forest, or it will be December 14th, Saturday, when York plays Bennett.
10-point ball game. Bobby, all they needed was 4 more minutes. Inigo, corner 3-ball is short, and that's going to be it. Final 5 seconds of the ball game, 51-41, Dukes by 10. And with that, they're going to conclude the first home game of the season, and this crowd is all about it. And they're going to let LT know it. 8 fouls registered by the Dukes in the second half. 10 by the Lions. And Bobby, I mean, listen, we talked about it time and time again. Just, you know, the student body had a lot of questions coming in to tonight. How is this team going to look? How are they going to perform? Listen, it wasn't the prettiest of wins, but this one will do. This one will work. And that it did. 51-41 is the final score of the pink-out game. And I mean, this was just a tremendous turnout, great cause.
Great showing.
And a 10-point win for the Dukes. Nate Shockey, folks, officially registered 26 points of the 51.
I believe that is one of his career highs. His career high is 27 that he put up against DGN last year.
I'm not a master of adjectives, folks, but I think that qualifies as incredible. I will take Nate Shockey scoring 26 points every day of the week.
I think we all will.
Folks, once again, 51-41, 10-point ball game. All they needed was 4 more minutes, and they did it. Great response there at the adversity towards the end. Nate Shockey nails a 3, makes it 39-39. Crowd loves it. 4 seconds to go. Great defense in those last 4 seconds by the Dukes. And this crowd, as the game went on, took them a while to warm up to the occasion, but they did it.
They came through.
Boy, did they do it well.
They did fantastic.
If there's one thing you could say as a Duke fan, especially if you love Duke basketball, as in New York, it's good to be back. I mean, when you hear that song at the end of a ball game, you know that's a great day to be a Duke fan. I mean, that is just a tremendous game. Tremendous game on both ends. Struggled early, but what a ball game, and what a fun one to call. We hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation of York basketball on the York Sports Network. 10-point game.
10-point.
Only took 4 minutes. Win. And that's what they're going to do. And folks, we want to say once again, our next broadcast will be 12:10, we believe.
Or 12:14.
Girls, or
we're still deciding on that.
We're still working on that. But 12:10 is the earliest. I believe it's girls' game against OPRF.
And the girls' team, when we call some girls' games, they are just straight out fantastic.
We would like to thank you for joining tonight's broadcast of York Dukes basketball on YSN. We hope you enjoyed tonight's unprecedented coverage of York basketball, and we can't see it until next time. For Bobby Hessling, I'm Gavin Hughes. So long, everybody, and roll Dukes.